Muse is a project initiated by a group of students from the Queensland Conservatorium of Music who believe that music is beneficial to students for emotional well-being, providing a sense of community and educational growth. To bring music to more students, Muse collects donated second-hand instruments and services them with the money raised at fundraiser concerts so the instruments can then be donated to schools. Through our project, we plan to address UN Sustainable Development Goals of quality education, reduced inequalities, and sustainable production and consumption. The target audience for this project is students in low socioeconomic areas whose families cannot afford the same education we've been privileged enough to have. Over the course of the past year, we've made a connection with the Multicultural Families Organisation in the Gold Coast and Russell Island State School in the Bowen District. According to the Australian Bureau of Statistics, the median family income in Brisbane Central was $2,332 in 2016, whereas in Bowen it was only $1,815. Music education is expensive, and it is most often the initial cost of buying an instrument that makes it inaccessible, so the Muse team collects and services second-hand instruments to reduce that cost. Initially, when Muse began last year, our aim was to collect these instruments, raise funds to get them serviced to a playable standard, and then donate them to children in rural and low socioeconomic areas, while also using raised funds to subsidise online lessons. However, we realised that this is not financially sustainable. Instead, Muse now runs concerts for the community, selling tickets at $15 for students and $20 for adults. These funds, along with funds from our upcoming corporate events and workshops that we plan to run with the Multicultural Families Organisation on the Gold Coast, will go towards getting instruments serviced, allowing students to contact their own teachers to create a personal and in-person relationship rather than online. As more instruments become playable and can be donated, the combination of funds from the concerts, corporate events, and workshops will bring in more income to continue getting instruments serviced.
With Muse successfully increasing the accessibility of instruments across Queensland, we have already begun positively impacting children's education and the general music industry. Lockdown has significantly impacted the industry, with lowered profits resulting in certain businesses and careers struggling to stay afloat. By giving children the opportunity to participate in music education, overall demand for industry professionals will rise and assist with the re-establishment of in-person music education and events. Our pilot project with Russell Island State School has allowed students to access instruments, sparking in them an interest to study music, directly targeting Sustainability Development Goal 4, quality education, which could lead to potential career paths being opened. Besides education, music is used by many as an emotional outlet, and by supplying the necessary materials for children to begin creating music, they can gain the ability to express their emotions in a safe environment. By participating in music education, children also gain an increased sense of community with various group environments such as ensembles, lessons, and practice. Muse relies solely on acquiring second-hand instruments for donation and potential loaning. In doing so, we are preventing more instruments from ending up in landfill, reducing our impact on the planet. By removing the financial factor that limits access to music education, we are assisting in removing inequalities and improving access to education while also limiting the amount of waste from music, thus contributing to UN Sustainability Development Goals 4, 11, and 12.
Nine Lives is a student-led project with a vision of responsible, sustainable clothing industries. Our business model is based on the mantra reduce, reuse, recycle, as the main aim of our organisation aligns with SDG 11, sustainable consumption. We reduce the purchase of new clothes by hosting pop-up op shops on campus with low prices and swaps. We reuse existing clothes by providing educational workshops on repurposing. And we recycle clothes by accepting even unwearable donations and upcycling them to new items.
Alright, so first we have our pop-up op shops. These larger rummage style events give people opportunities to donate their unwanted items, which are then swapped or sold at a very low price. Essentially, these donations help to alleviate the inundation of our secondhand shops, and also they encourage people to buy secondhand and to buy sustainably through the low cost. We target SDG 10 and SDG 12 through exposing the inequalities of fast fashion and also increasing the availability of sustainable items. We also encourage people to think about their sustainability and think about the consumerism so that we can become more of a closed loop. All of our items that aren't sold go towards our upcycling workshop so that they can be repurposed and given another life. And All the profits from our op shops go into these upcycling workshops so that we can continue to have an impact and reduce our textile waste.
Furthermore, our educational branch includes upcycling workshops to teach basic skills like sewing and alteration. These skills are often not present in students and younger people, so the aim is to educate on the principle of SDG 4. Unwearable donations or old textiles from attendees are used to create new items such as scrunchies. While COVID-19 restrictions have limited gatherings, we have been able to educate over 40 students with 4 workshops held in the last year. Our social impact niche is clear and well explored. Fast fashion has been in the spotlight of the last few years, with statistics like 4 gigatons of carbon dioxide emitted by the fashion industry annually. Young people in particular are targeted in campaigns, and we have made it all too easy to literally buy into this unsustainable economy. Despite this, it still is an exciting time where more people are becoming aware of the environmental, economic and ethical impacts of fast fashion. Our project uses this current momentum to create opportunities for young people to break the cycle.
So Nine Lives measures their social impact through the number of individuals directly impacted or involved in dialogue, and through the number of clothing recycled. Since mid-2020, we've had 5 pop-up op shops and we've had 3 upcycling workshops where we've seen important conversations occur with 191 individuals, and we've seen 120 pieces of clothing recycled. We hope to expand this in the future, and slowly, person by person, peer by peer, we hope to give clothes another life.
Peekabook, the third and final project run by the Griffith University branch of Enactus, is a social enterprise that sells wrapped second-hand books to support children from culturally and linguistically diverse backgrounds. These books, which we sell, are sourced from the local community by people dropping off their previously loved books at locations in both the Gold Coast and Brisbane. This sourcing practice encourages environmental sustainability and supports SDG number 12 from the ground level of our project. Furthermore, our wrapping materials and promotional stamps are environmentally friendly, which alongside the recycled books ensures we have minimised our impact upon the planet. Through collaborative wrapping workshops, the books are packaged to hide the front cover from the buyer, with 3 clues written on the wrapping paper to only reveal key details about the nature of the novel. To us, this simple concept represents the idea that you cannot judge a book by its cover, and that a few details about an individual from a migrant background does not reveal their full story. Our value proposition is that for $5 a book, you can reduce the inequality of opportunity that refugee and asylum seeker children experience in Australia, as all of our generated profits are donated to the Multicultural Families Organisation to purchase educational resources. The measurable outcomes of Peekabook include the number of hours volunteered, books sold, and how the amount of money raised assists the Multicultural Families Organisation to provide heightened support to refugee children. In 2020, Peekabook, like many other enterprises both within Griffith Enactus and externally, experienced challenges and obstacles from the pandemic. But even during these trying times, Peekabook successfully rebranded from its previous name, The Unknown Project, while establishing several social media channels in preparation for when stalls would again become an option. In September of 2020, a final stall was held at Muse Community Concert, where over $120 profit was made, our first profit since February of the same year. Our team believes that these sales affirm that people still love the experience of purchasing a book and prefer the tactile feel and sales experience from a physical copy rather than a digital version. Although we believe that this is a positive indicator that people are interested in our project, we are seeking ways to make a stronger impact in addition to donating our profits, which will increase the project's longevity. In 2021, Peekabook's goal is to increase both our online and community presence, as we view our project as a social awareness campaign also. Furthermore, now that we have over 20 boxes worth of wrapped and unwrapped books, we are seeking to minimise storage inefficiencies by having all of our resources stored at the Food Connect shed in Salisbury. This opens future avenues to hold pop-up stalls more effectively in Brisbane, while having our wrapping workshops involving the local community at the Food Connect shed itself. In the past, we have experienced much engagement through our wrapping workshops, and we are excited to open up our project to the wider community. Finally, the Peekabook team has received much value from feedback and realise that it is vital to pivoting successfully into the post-COVID world. We hope the establishment of our wrapping workshops and online channels will increase public response and inform our future decision-making skills.